Hi, we're Shannon and Jerry Arner.
And our dog, Betty White.
Your hosts of the Arner Adventures podcast.
Could we have named it something more creative? Probably. But it's the name of our blog. It's our last name. We're on an adventure. Yada, yada, yada. After owning our own business, working 24/7.
And don't forget a mental breakdown in between.
We made a lifestyle change and decided to make the most out of life.
We sold our house, most of our belongings, downsized, and moved to the coast.
We live life minimally, but fully.
We live each day as an adventure.
This show will help you learn how to live life more fully, with more intention, by experiencing more, and with less stuff.
We'll talk about our own experiences, interview others who have much to share by creating a spark in our lives.
Some days we'll share real-life ongoings of what we're going through, and others will talk about our favorite flavor of waffle.
Come join our adventure.
It's the Arner Adventures Podcast.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Shannon.
Betty White says hello and Happy New Year as we're back for episode 107 of the Arner Adventures Podcast.
Yes, Happy New Year. We're actually recording this a few days before the New Year, but it will drop on January 2nd. So just being totally transparent, we wanted to take a few days off for the holiday and practice a little self-care.
A little self-care is always good. Before we get into the conversation today, which we're really excited about, we want to ask you if you would please leave us a 5-star review or rating on the platform you're listening to us on. And if you could please hit that subscribe button, we would really appreciate it.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, you get to see Betty White. We've kind of moved our area, wanted this to be a little bit more of a cozy situation. So we have our different mics. So if you're hearing this differently, that's why. We're hoping this is going to work out. If it works out nicely, we may make this our new podcast area for a little bit, just for a change of pace. We'll just have to kind of see. But if you're on YouTube, you do get to see Betty. If you're not on YouTube, head over there and check her out because she's pretty precious, right?
Oh, she's something else.
Well, this is the third New Year's episode we've done. So for the past 2 years, we've expressed how important it is to not put so much pressure on yourself when it comes to resolutions and goals and whatever you have in your mindset to make these big, giant changes.
Yeah, we support those if you want to go that route, but we believe more in setting intentions. Episode 3 of our podcast even dives into how to set intentions and your word of the year, which we love to do.
We do. We'll link that in the show notes. Our word of the year this past year was momentum. And the year before that was, do you remember?
Abundance.
This year, or 2024, it is joy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we went with the 1-syllable word. Those 3-syllable words were a lot. That was a lot of weight to carry. No, joy. I know that's a good one.
Yeah.
Especially this time of year. So your word of the year can be a great guide, a focus point for you to come back to when you're feeling off the path. We felt like joy is great for being a great reminder to intentionally create joy for ourselves, saying no to things that don't bring us joy, and not keeping things around that don't bring us joy.
Right, a lot of joy in that little conversation.
A lot of joy. I'm stumbling all over that joy.
But like clutter, which is, if you need a reminder, we have a declutter challenge going on right now. You can join that by checking the show notes, shameless plug. But yeah, like clutter, we don't want to keep things around that don't bring us joy. So there's a little bit of linking right there.
Okay, well, let's get to it. Forget the resolutions and success stories. Today, we're all about those simple habits that turn each day into a mini celebration. Boy, do I like that.
Yeah.
Joy doesn't have to be your word of the year to get into the mindset of actually cultivating joy. So this is helpful for everyone.
That's right. So grab your favorite cozy spot like we have done, your beverage of choice like we have done, and get ready for some joy-packed wisdom that's not just about making it through the year, but savoring every moment of the year. Am I right?
You're darn right, yeah. We're going to go through some simple habits that will help you craft a year of joy and fulfillment in your life.
That's right. Just a few things. We're actually going to work on these too. So we were like, well, if our word is joy, what kind of things can we put into place to bring more joy to our life? And why not do our first podcast of the year sharing those habits that we're going to try to build through the year?
What a way to launch the year.
I mean, sharing is caring, right?
Sharon is Karen.
Okay, well, the first one is a daily gratitude practice. I mean, we've talked about this a lot. It's a great way to start or end each day by jotting down 3 things you're grateful for. Even just thinking about those 3 things. You know, I've talked about this ever since Kevin Berthia's podcast. When he opens his eyes in the morning, he talks about, or he thinks about how he's just so grateful to have woken up, right? Sometimes it might be just as simple as that. Just, I woke up today. And speaking of grateful, you might be hearing Betty snoring because she snores pretty loud these days. And I am so grateful that she is here with us. So sometimes it's just acknowledging the things around you, the simple things to be grateful for. But if you start a gratitude practice, it shifts the focus to positive aspects of your life and sets a joyful tone.
It sure does. The mind is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
And if you can shift it on a dime like that, man, your day can go a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And moving right along, as we say, mindful moments. Incorporating short mindful breaks throughout the day. It could be as simple as taking a deep breath, appreciating a moment of silence, or pausing to enjoy a hot cup of tea, if tea is your thing. We do have the quick and easy mindful meditation we shared. We link it for you in the show notes.
That's right. Any of the resources that we talk about that we've had before or that we've talked about, we are linking all of these down in the show notes. And, you know, I think it's interesting that sometimes we know the things that we need to do to make for a slower, simpler life, but we have to be reminded of it. And so this is really great for us too, to just go into the new year with those great reminders of how to bring joy into our life and not, you know, I've said so many times before that contentment is underrated.
Yeah.
You know,
sure.
this happy. Let's be happy in the new year. Let's meet our goals. Let's crunch everything and make sure that we knock them out. Well, I just really want some simplicity and some joy.
Oh, yeah. That can be a lot of pressure.
It is a lot of pressure.
Yeah. I'm supposed to be happy.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard to do all the time.
Right. The next thing is have connection rituals. So regular check-ins with loved ones, whether it's phone calls, video chats, handwritten notes, it can really strengthen your connections and bring lasting joy. Now remember, this is with people you actually want to connect with, okay? Don't feel pressured to connect with people who do not bring you joy. An example of this is I have this I've talked about my morning ritual a lot and how much I love my morning routine. But my morning ritual includes a conversation with my dad every morning and then a conversation with my mom every morning. Every morning. Sometimes I am really tired when I get out the door. And my dad, if you know him at all, you know that he is a live wire any time of day, but for sure in the morning. And sometimes I have to ease into my morning and I'm walking Betty and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, let me get this together. But having that connection ritual, I do appreciate it because when I don't have it, I'm like, oh, it's kind of weird. I haven't talked to them today. And it just really strengthens those connections. I have a friend who moved out of the state and his siblings are still here. And he gets on like virtual kind of Zoom calls and has like game night or they do things together. And so it's a really great way to stay connected, especially in this day and age when it can be difficult if you don't live near your family or friends.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. And it's easy to, I think, take that for granted, too. And because when somebody's not right in front of you that you talk to, which you have to talk to a lot of people all day sometimes.
Yeah.
So sometimes go like, I don't have to talk to, I can call them later. And, but and then you sort of take that for granted and then you might put it off. So yeah, it's a good thing to do when you can do it.
Yeah.
Oh, and another one of my favorites coming up. It's the Walden Pond in me. Embrace nature. Get outdoors. Whether it's a daily walk, weekend hikes, or simply sitting in a park feeding the squirrels.
Yeah.
Being in nature has a profound impact on well-being. We've talked about this a lot. We have our Get Outdoors 30-day challenge. If that is something you want to start with us, it's also in the show notes.
Simply sitting in a park. Do you remember the time that we just needed a break in New York City? We went to Central Park.
Yeah.
We just sat. We were so tired.
Mm-hmm.
And we sat. And in the simplicity of enjoying the moment, what did we see? A rat.
Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh. I almost forgot.
Skirted underneath the tree.
Yeah.
Oh, well. We still enjoyed the moment, though.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. The next thing that, again, we've talked about as far as doing something kind for other people, random acts of kindness. So to receive joy, you can spread joy by performing those small acts. It can be buying a coffee for a stranger. It can be leaving a positive note for someone. It can be, volunteering in your community. Acts of service are something that is just one of those things that you don't realize that how much it does for somebody else and is so rewarding for you. And you're going to feel so much joy after. But that's something that we're going to implement into our schedule. I think we're pretty good about it, but I would like to even just mindfully say, okay, have we performed a random act of kindness this week? And then just make sure that I don't want it to be so much like checking a box, but sort of check a box to make sure that we are doing it, because I think it will bring us so much more joy if we do that.
Well, it's a good thing to keep track of. Yeah, because if you get caught in your own busy schedule, sometimes you can just sort of think about what you got to do for you. And you do have to do for yourself first and take care of yourself before you can help others. Mm-hmm. So, there's a bit of a balance there. Hey, well, it's that time of year again, and we can't wait to tell you about our very favorite soy candles from Southern Oak Artisan.
Yes, they're a trusted sponsor of the episode, have been for a while, but we love their products. They are 100% natural soy candles. One of the things that we love any time of year, but especially in the cozy season, are our candles all around the house.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, and you're right. All times of the year. In fact, in the summertime, sometimes we hate that we don't feel we can light them because it's just too warm. But man, it takes a lot not to light those candles.
Yeah.
And these candles are made with non-toxic ingredients, and which makes for a safe and enjoyable breathing around the house.
They have pumpkin scents this time of year, apple. There's some seasonal things for the fall and the winter. And they are non-toxic, like Jerry said. They're not overpowering scents. They're clean. And they come in these little jars that once you burn it, by the way, soy burns clean. So you can reuse the jars for, you can put some seedlings in there. You can put some earrings and jewelry in there, whatever you want to do, storage in the kitchen. It's just really nice.
Oh, and they look good anywhere. They would look good anywhere in your house, whatever they're doing.
Yeah, super nice. Well, if you want to take advantage of a discount that Southern Oak Artisan is extending to you, go to arneradventures.com/Southern Oak Artisan. Or you can make sure that you go to our show notes where it will be linked there.
There you go. But you're right. It's I think we do kind of think in that direction, but it's good to be reminded sometimes. So have that box so
That's
you
right.
can check it. Yeah,
we will.
No doubt about that. Oh, what a segue.
Right?
Another one of my favorites, creative outlets. Explore the joy of creativity, whether it's painting, writing, or trying a new recipe. Engaging in creative pursuits can bring a sense of accomplishment and happiness. Just a good outlet.
Yeah, I can't remember if I talked about this on the podcast. I know I might have talked about it with you before. I really want to find a course, tutorial, something to make latte art.
The latte art.
I'm not trying to be a barista. I don't think I have the patience for that. I don't have the time, really. But I am excited to learn how to make latte art. I just think how beautiful in something so simple like coffee. and just making it so beautiful. It's so simple, but every time I go to a new city, like we're traveling, I Google latte art near me.
Yeah.
Because I want to go to a cafe where they're known for having just these beautiful designs on top.
Uh-huh.
And I want to be able to do that in our home. I just want to be able to do it. And I've heard it's pretty simple, but that's for people who have the patience to learn it. And I'm not that patient, but I really want to learn how.
You have talked about it for a long time.
I should do it.
And you show me pictures.
2024 should be the year that I implement some creativity via latte art.
Latte art. You show me the pictures all the time. We're saying, look what they did, Jared, the barista. It's usually like what they do, if you don't know what we're talking about. They out of the foam, like the milk
froth?
foam, the
like
froth. They do a little design on top of the coffee, and it's usually like a heart or maybe a 1972 Pontiac or something. Something like down
that.
Yeah.
Golly. Well, yeah. And most of them are hearts or almost like a fern leaf.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But there are some places like in New York where they have competitions for latte art. I'm not trying to go to that extreme, but I would love to be able to make just regular old latte art. And I'd do it here in the mornings by myself. Just,
That would be kind of fun.
It would be a mindful moment, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. I would join in with you. You do the heart and I would do the 72 Pontiac.
Okay.
And we both have our little niche. So.
Okay. Well, moving on, the next thing that we are going to do more regularly, digital detox. So if you make a habit of unplugging from screens regularly, it really helps not only bring you joy, it helps mental health. A break from the constant notifications can lead to being more mindful and a more joyful existence. We do this on Sundays for the most part, but we are not consistent enough about it. So this is something we're going to implement more often, bring more joy. And to be honest with you, we've talked about productivity before. This is not about productivity, but I do want to talk about if you are someone who has notifications going all through your day, like I am, whether it's like Microsoft Teams or you've got your phone up in text and all that stuff, I will tell you, you probably know already, you cannot, or it is very difficult to get a project done. So again, repeating this, but I will turn everything off for a significant amount of time and then get back and check it. And that's okay. I've never had anybody tell me that's not okay in a workplace, but outside of the workplace, really, you should make a habit of unplugging notifications, TV, everything. It really feels good when you do it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no doubt. And usually well needed. When I do it, I realize, I needed to do that.
When we went on our cozy little getaway for Thanksgiving, we didn't have TV. We didn't have our computers. We just didn't really even have our phone. We took some pictures so that we could remember it and, of course, create content. So it was weird. It was weirdly wonderful.
Yeah, it does take you out of the rhythm you're used to, but it was pretty neat.
Have you seen that Broadway show?
Weirdly Wonderful? I have not, but I was in a band once.
Called Weirdly Wonderful.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, well, anyway.
I haven't seen that show.
Yeah, it's not one. I'm just making it up.
Oh. This is another one that works for me pretty good. Acknowledge and celebrate. Celebrate the small wins. Acknowledge and celebrate even the smallest achievements. It cultivates a positive mindset and a sense of accomplishment. I often come home and ask Shannon, what's the best thing that happened today? Yeah. And then sometimes you really didn't think about that. Another day. And they go, thinking about it, something happened that's usually kind of good. And then when you add them up, they even get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just as simple as, oh my gosh, I saw Mac, our old mailman today.
Oh, yeah.
He retired and I saw him on our walk. Like sometimes it's that. Sometimes that's it's maybe sometimes the biggest positive of the day if it's a hard day. But it's really nice, and it helps you refocus on those small wins.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's, hey, what was it today? Betty had a great day today. She seemed very happy. She was playful. She didn't cough as much. She just seems to be having a really good day.
Yeah.
And that was the win of the day. It seems so small, but it really can be huge in comparison to just a regular day, you know?
No, that's true. Because I was happy too. I came home and she was real happy. And then I knew that was going to make you happy. And it's just a cycle of happy.
Happy. Speaking of happy, the next one is laughter. So find moments of joy and humor every day. Laughter is a powerful antidote to stress. Even on the saddest days, do your best to find something to laugh at. If it's actively searching for a funny sitcom or thinking about something funny, just do it. Laughter is truly the best medicine.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, and it's easy to kind of forget about that.
I have an example.
Okay.
This morning,
Uh-huh.
we were handling a situation with getting our oil changed for the car. Jerry had arranged for a place. Everything's sort of walking distance. So I was going to drop off the car. Now, it was at the beginning of my work day. Time is very precious. So I went to drop it off. The place was closed. Long story short, that's kind of how it is on island time. But they said they were going to be open. They weren't. We were trying to figure out what to do. We went to another place. I was getting frustrated. I was venting that frustration onto you.
Uh-huh.
You were getting frustrated.
Very.
I walked in the next place, which they ended up doing a really great job. The owner was wonderful. The guy at the counter, however, was not. He was not. And you made a joke about the guy and probably why he was in a bad mood. A political joke, which we thought was hilarious.
It was.
We laughed for hours.
We did. We really laughed.
But all of a sudden, that whole situation got better.
It did.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
in fact, I came back around we have a thing called Marco Polo where you talk to each other on the phone. And after all was said and done, I came back around and I said, on a lighter note, here's why the guy was upset today.
That's true.
And then I had a funny political.
Yeah, we won't get into that, but it was definitely a moment of joy, and it took sort of that whole negative situation and turned it around into something positive.
Something positive, yeah. Say no to what doesn't bring you joy, kids. This is about boundaries. Don't just automatically say yes because someone asks you to do something. Consider, will this bring me joy? If the answer is no, guess you know what you're not doing, right?
That's right.
That's right.
I mean, if somebody asks you to do something and you say yes, you didn't want to do it, you're going to be in a bad mood. You're going to be resentful. This is someone speaking from experience. I am the worst. I'm getting so much better. 2024 is the year. You know, there's a book about the year of yes, like the year I said yes to everything. This will be the year I say no to everything. People are going to be like, golly, she says no to everything. That's right. I'm going to say no. And then if I decide last minute, I think I kind of want to do that, then I'll go and do it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I want people to count me out. I mean, I'm just going to assume that most things that someone else asked me to do is not going to bring me joy. So I'm just going to go ahead, not leading with the negative, just leading with self-preservation.
That's right.
Holding up some boundaries, self-care. And then, again, if I decide, I think it would bring me joy, then I'll say yes.
That's right.
So I think, there you have it. I think that's a great way to sort of end things and talk about how, these are the things that we're going to be implementing into our year 2024, year of joy, living a more fulfilling life.
That's the word of the year.
That's right.
Joy. And the phrase of the year, count me out. So I have a phrase of the year too.
Count me out, and that brings me joy. Okay? Do not
It
count on
all
me.
works together, you see?
Don't count on me, and I will have joy.
Yeah.
That's right.
It all kind of works together.
Mm-hmm.
Embrace the joy, savor the moments, and embark on a journey to make this year your most joyful yet. Join us in crafting a life that's truly worth celebrating.
Speaking of joy, if you're watching this on YouTube, we're enjoying our Cozy Earth loungewear right now. And a lot of people have put a lot of pressure on themselves when they're going to have a video podcast. We don't. We're in our loungewear. We have Betty here beside us, and it's a cozy joy fest right now.
Yeah.
And if you're someone who knows me or follows on social media and you're like, wait a minute, I thought you were having dry January. Well, if you listened at the beginning, we recorded this before January.
That's right.
That's why we're having some adult beverages.
Well, you've got to make up that ground before you go into dry January.
That's true. Here's to joy.
Here's to joy. Count us out.
If this episode resonated with you, or if you know of someone who would benefit from anything we talked about today, or any episode, our guests, or anything, please share it with a friend. It's a great way of supporting the podcast and us, and we really appreciate it.
Another way of supporting the pod is by leaving us a 5-star review or rating on the platform you're listening to us on. Oh, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button because that also supports us. We would love that.
You can always find us, links we refer to during the show, and any of the podcast sponsors at arneradventures.com or linked here in these show notes. And until next time, enjoy that journey you're on. We're wishing you lots of adventures.
Adios.
Arrivederci.
Au revoir.
Adios.
Sayonara.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Dos vidaniana.
And a yeon.
Bye.
Bye.